Hello everyone, I am RexRed and this is Ez3DTv, and we're going to today make a new scene in Daz Studio. I kind of got a little bit of an idea of what I want to do, but I'm not really sure yet. So we're going to experiment. It's going to be something with a wizard, and I have found an incredibly very interesting HDRI that I want to use in the scene. So without too much beginning here, we're going to play our splash screen and I will be right back. We will be beginning our tutorial today. Okay, welcome people, welcome. Now we are looking for something called golden hour. And so let's see if we can find this. Okay, we'll skip this because I don't think I'll find it that way. So all we had in this scene was an HDRI. So we're going to go to our easy HDRI, see if we can find this, see how well this works. Golden, let's try, oh, what would help? No, let's try golden hour, and here it is. See how easy it is to find your HDRIs now? Now, this is what we have here. Angus, good evening, friend. Welcome. It is very nice to have you here, and you get a crown with the number 1 next to your name. That must be because you are the first chatter of the evening. And welcome, and what a great chatter you are, friend. So we're going to look at this and find a place that might work with our wizard. So, let's see what we can find now. So we go to default, wizard. Am I going to get a keyboard here to work? We are not using the new Daz 2024. Well, wizard. Let's try this. Wizard's beard. Here is our wizard. Wizard HD expansion pack. Okay, and so poses and magic props. And so we bring in, we're going to use the Genesis 8 wizard. Male, okay. I don't think this is our the beard. Okay, here's the character. Actor. Okay, Control 9. Let's see if we can go out of iRay for a moment. Matt, welcome. Matt, you are the number 2 chatter tonight. So an update on my Easy HDRI. I have submitted it to the Daz store to an application with them to see if they are interested in selling it in the Daz store, which would be really, really nice. So I haven't heard back, but I know they are very busy. So we shall wait and see what happens. So, yeah. So that's all we can do is wait. So this is taking a while for him to load into the scene. Okay, all right, we got our wizard. Let's go into texture shaded so we don't violate any rules here. Okay, so what's this? I think these are just materials. Okay, we got a hat. So we have to put on the wizard set. Okay, let's see what we have here. Well, I think it might be thinking, or I didn't click enough. There we go. Anytime now. Okay, we could do this kind of number here. Okay, from the top down. And I'm not seeing the wizard set go. Oh, these are materials. So we have to find the clothes. Wizard lore. This is the different. That's the beard. HD clothes. So maybe, okay, complete set. That's, oh, files. Wardrobe, breeches. No. Wardrobe. Here we go. Complete set. Okay, wizard. There you are. Okay. And we need to put you in a pose. Okay, wizard pose. Poses, where are the poses? Poses and props. Okay. So, what we do now is we go into our very happy with them. Okay, I watched your videos on clouds and ended up getting Howie Fark's volumetric clouds. Okay, awesome, awesome. I've done so many videos, I barely remember that video, but you know, I really would love to be able to have time to sit back and watch some of my videos, because it just would remind me of all the products that I have kind of used over the past. And it's like really, I just love all the, and you know, I just love all of the different products in the Daz store. So now, okay, so what we're going to do, we're in simulation settings here. We're going to leave the bones on, and we're just going to click simulate and see what happens. So he's going to go back to his A pose. And then he's going to slowly move into his pose. Okay, if we don't do it this way, then what happens is he will end up with the pose won't work right. As you see what happened when I moved him into the pose, the clothing didn't move with him. So what this does is it causes as he moves into his pose, it causes him, the cloth to hang so it moves slowly into his new pose rather than quickly, like from one pose to another, and then the clothes is just still in the original pose. So this kind of gives us that ability. So we're going to see what we can do here with this. So it's getting him into his pose first. Good evening, Serenity's Gate. Welcome, friend. Welcome. We have Angus here, and we have Matt here, and now we have Serenity's Gate. Welcome, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are doing a simulation here. We're going to get our wizard into place here. And we're going to give him a nice kind of crooked cane and a fireball, maybe some kind of HDRI fireball with a lot of smoke. We're going to see how this all works. We're obviously going to have to do something to fix his clothing so that, okay, now it's going to hang here. It's going to do the final hang. And then we're going to, there it is. Okay, so we are obviously going to have to do some repairs on his clothing here. All right, which isn't too bad. Now everybody does theirs a different way, you know, but I do mine the way I do it. Okay, so this is the hooded cloak first. And we're going to go into tool settings and into geometry sculptor. And we're just going to pull this out a little bit like that. Pull this out a little bit like that. And this. Okay, and a little bit here. Okay, okie dokie. And we'll pull a little bit here. We might as well fix it all around. Okay. And a little bit here, I guess. I can't tell where the blue handle is here. Okay. Okay, we'll pull this up a little like that, I guess. I guess. And a little bit here. And then we go with the outer tunic. Pull that out and this out a little bit here and here. Some people still take their stuff into like Blender and it's like, hello, we've had Mesh Grabber for years. It's time to learn how to use it. Okay, so we have a problem with the cloak. I really pulled that way out. All right, so we got to go with the cloak anyway. We've got to fix this little part here. And we'll push that back down in a little bit. Okay, come on, mouse. All right, that works. Okay, and all right. So let's find. And Cherry, how are you tonight? Welcome, welcome. I like the free-form approach to your video streams. Lots of information ends up coming out. Yeah, we traverse a lot of different things, and that's what makes it fun, is not having it scripted and allowing us to just kind of do all kinds of stuff. That's just off the cuff. It really, really, really is. Okay, I'm going to pull this little piece of his hood down because it just looks kind of weird here. Okay, let's get in a little closer. Get a little bit closer now, baby. All right, now, what did I just do? Okay, this isn't going to work unless I make it smaller. So we go here to gain, no, it'd be radius, and let's go 2, 2, 2. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, I wish this was a Genesis 9 guy, because I could do so much more with him, but it's not. So that's the thing. So we've got to find now a staff. So we go back now up out of here, out of our HDRIs. We're going to go to Smart Content. Let's see if I kind of like this warm look of his, because I do have other things, and we got some stuff here. We have a spell book. But I think we're going to go with the smoke. So let's find, okay, some staffs. I have a ton of them. I think they're spelled like that. Okay, files, staff. Okay. Ooh, look at this one. We have a gnarly one. Okay. 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 You have to bring the right staff to the right occasion, you know? You just don't bring any staff. Okay. Wizard lore staff. This looks like a good one. Ooh, and it went right in his hand. Okay, but I think it's got to go down to the ground. So we go to our... How do we select this? Okay, welcome, welcome. And to Mr. Angus. Art. Is Art? I don't know if Art is here yet. We hope that he graces us with his presence. Okay, where did the staff go? Did it go under the hooded cloak? No, I think it's in his hand, maybe. Wise wizard, which be hip. Let's see, pelvis, abdomen, upper, chest, left collar. Okay, this wouldn't be pelvis, so it would be right collar, right shoulder, right forearm twist, right hand. No, I don't see a staff there. It must be in here. Sash, tunic, cloak, helmet, belt, boots. Does anybody see a staff? Okay, well, what I can do is go here. And now there it is, wizard staff. It's right in his hand. Okay. All right, that looks better. Now let's see what happens when we turn on our HDRI. Okay, he looks like he's floating. This isn't working. Not quite like I wanted it to. All right. There it is. Okay, now we have to find, okay, we're going to save this. Wizard's Den, it's called, but I'm just not sure if that's the name yet. Let's find some VDB fire. Okay. Come back. Okay, VDB. Ooh. Flame tornado. I kind of like this, but this one's really intense. Okay. Oops. I think that spell got cast a little bit wrong. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to go here, and we're going to take this and bring it up and scale it. Parameters, scale. Bring it over like that, like this. Hello. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Ooh, it's putting off light. And all right. All right. That's kind of works. And we have to illuminate his face a little bit. So what we'll do is we're going to take a point light, and all right, we're going to create a camera. Create new camera. Okay, and we're going to lock the camera. Edit, object, lock. All right, so we don't mess up the camera. Now we can move in a little around here without messing this up. Grab our point light. Bring this out a beat. Okay, and in like this. Okay, go back to our camera. And let's give this point light a little bit of light. And it's going to look like the light is coming from the fire, which is a kind of nice little trick. And that is, oh, that's our temperature. No, we don't want it there. We want the temperature about here. And this would go up to 5. There it is. Okay. And I think I want a little bit more drama. So we're going to move it this way so that one half of his face is kind of darkened. Okay, and we'll take, let's see what this looks like in our render settings. Welcome people, 2000, and we want 16 by 9. We'll go, oops, that's the wrong one. 16 by 9. Well, we'll go like that, but then we'll take this. And then we'll go here to 2000. All right, let's do a, let's go to progressive, maximum samples, maximum time, turn this off. That's how we do it, and we give ourselves a render. See what this looks like. There it is. Doesn't look like it's quite in his hand, but he's gripping that with the birch. This is pretty cool. Yes, well that's kind of loud. Volume mixer. Turn you down a little bit. Okay. We close this. And what was it that I didn't like? Oh, the fire in his hand. Perspective. Well, maybe that's why. Intense flame. This is the thing about 3D is you have to look at it from every angle to get it right. From above, from the side, see like this, and like that. I don't think okay, I'm not sure that I want it right in his hand, but maybe I do. Kind of like it hovering above his hand, but that is amazing. Notice now what's happening, the light's going through his fingers. This is why we have translucency, okay, is to create this effect, okay? If we didn't have it if we didn't have translucency as part of our figures, we wouldn't have that effect. Now I'm thinking that there should be something he's throwing the that he's going to do this, throw this at, and he seems awfully placid for a wizard who's about ready to like do battle. He should like have like but I don't know if I want to do that. And then even a poor little alien or something that he's going to throw it at, I think people would feel pity for them. So I'm not sure exactly what he's going to be throwing that at. So maybe we'll just leave that up to your imagination, but it's something very, very, very bad. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. When render quality enable, always turn it off. All it really does is it keeps it if you turn it on, it will turn off your render at some point. And what you want to do is leave it on so that you can decide when you want the render to stop. So just turn it off and it will keep rendering. You just turn those, those three buttons, there's three things you go into the render, and you just turn the two sliders up, turn render quality off, and what that will do is allow it to keep rendering and rendering and rendering and rendering until you decide it's done. So it doesn't turn off for you. So how about if we just have him lighting a campfire? Like a bonfire. I don't know if we have a bonfire. I don't know if that's spelled with as one word. I think it is, but default. Smart content. We'll try it as one. There's a bonfire. It is one word. Okay, what's the bonfire? 0. What's this? Central Rock. Well, let's try this. Where did that go? All right, let's take our wizard, and we're going to take our wizard, and we're going to take the point light and the intense flame in the wizard, and we're going to put them all into one group. We're going to call this figure. All right, so that when I move him around, the light and the fire move with him. So I can move him over a little bit like this. And see, when you put them all, the same for animation, if you have a figure that's animated, you can't move all those keyframes like little pieces to move them over. So you put them inside of a group, and then when you move them, all the animation moves and keyframes move with them. Another big trick. That's a big, big, big one. So, all right, we're going to now, where did the bonfire go, though? Bonfire. Okay, let's go here to perspective view and find our bonfire. Where's our wizard? Where are you, wizard? Oh my gosh, it's a flat bonfire. I don't think that's going to work. We don't want a flat bonfire. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Okay, now let's go back to our figure. Oh, it's a little bit smoldering. He says, this is the second time you burnt me today. All right, now we go here. We go like this. We go like that. Maybe not quite like that big. Smart content parameters. Okay, this scale like that. this light doesn't look. Okay, there we go. And our container, and we've got these point lights on the bonfire. What if we just turn them off? It's kind of being lit. Oh my gosh. Oh, the point lights are the fire inside. Okay. All right, and so in the volume container, I believe this is our smoke. So we go to surfaces, and yes, it is. So we're going to play around with this first, see what happens when we bring this down like that. Okay, that is kind of what we want. And because it kind of flows in, but maybe not quite so much. Z, what did I do? Flyer scattering offset. What's this? Z. Okay, this. What did I just, okay, it must be this one then. Z. Suddenly, okay, I've grabbed the wrong thing or something. Oh, this is, we're back. Okay, it's up here, these two. All right. And so we can bring this up a little more like that, maybe. No, that's, I think I like the darker. Look, that's too dark. And yes. Parameters. I am new to Daz. All my prior 3D experiences with View. Well, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with Daz. Because Daz is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay, so this one, you either go white and see what it does. Okay, that means that the outside light is not affecting it at all. And when we do this, that means the outer light is bouncing off inside of it, okay? So what we want is just it to bounce a little bit inside. Okay, so we bring this up in here. We want it to bounce inside a little bit so that the outer light gives it, melds it into the scene. Has kind of been my obsession for the last 6 years. Welcome to the club, and Jerry, I'm part of the club too. Yes, I am. So this makes it a little darker. I hear ya. Okay, I think that it's too dark now. So we go back here to this and we make that a little lighter. Yeah, I think if maybe I'd like to get it lighter so it looks like it's creating this haze. Oh, I know what we do. We take this and we go to density and we go here. We just make it a little bit less dense, like, let's try just a 0, take that, that's still too dense. We bring it down to 700. How about 400? Oh, now this isn't working. Z. unless we come here to the bonfire mesh and we, this has a light. Does it have luminance? Let's go to 200, 100. Okay. Now it seems to be working. Now these point lights here, point light, we could take these down a little bit to 0. This one, VDBs, you can be so precise with them. They are so awesome to work with. 0, 0. This one down to 0, just so the fire isn't quite so intense. And this one down to 0. And this one to 0. Okay, and let's take this light here. When I first pressed the iRay preview button, I was amazed that my computer could do something like that in real time. Yeah, iRay is really an amazing aspect of Daz. It really, really is. So it's the fun part, is rendering. Yes, so now we go back to our point light. I think this is too bright, and it's maybe needs to be a little more yellow or reddish. So we go to parameters, point light, our main linear point light. We bring this down to temperature. There we go. Let's see what we have here. And that point light's doing its job. It's bringing his face out without, and it looks like it's coming from this light. It's pretty cool how that works. Yes. And Victor, he stared into the flames, trying to divine the meaning of the glyphs. Okay, speaking of the glyphs, we need some glyphs. Let's move this bonfire down just a little bit lower so it looks like it's kind of based. And when you look at the top here and you look at like him, okay, let's select Victor here. And you see him like this. And he's like not even looking at the fire because he's looking like kind of over here. So we have to kind of put the fire where he might actually be looking. And then go back to our camera and see what we've got here. Okay. And then we can make this a little smaller. And let's look at this again from the top, make sure. That it looks like he's looking at the fire. See, we need this one a little more. Okay, back at our camera. Now, we're going to put on these guides here. Okay. So we can kind of move our wizard and kind of frame him in with this. Okay, actually I need to move him out because I'm going to put a totem here with some kind of glyphs on it. All right. How do you spell totem? T-O-T-U-M, I think it is. We don't, totem. Alexa, how do you spell totem?
Totem is spelled T-O-T-E-M.
Well, of course. Totem. Here we go. Nine. Okay. How are we going to be able to do this? Make it look like... Okay, let's turn our ground on. See if this has a ground. So we go to environments. and we go to parameters. And ground on. There it is. Totem. Okay. Scale. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take our ground here and we're going to make it manual, so I can kind of make this, the ground kind of eat this up a little bit. So we're going to go to ground, see where it says ground position auto, we're going to go manual, okay, and then we're going to go ground origin Y, bring it down some, okay. There. Let's see what we've got here now. And I'm going to take this totem, I'm going to make it dirty. So we're going to find some dirt. See what we can do with some dirt. X, products, dirt, dirt, this kind of dirt. We're going to go to default, utilities, apply dirt shell. Accept. Okay. And now let's go to shaders and come back. Well, okay, we got to go to texture and then come back. Okay, I think we got a problem with our render settings. We got to go into here and switch them to memory. Go out. Something's wrong there. Back to iRay. Okay, let's delete the geometry shell for now. We'll try again. Let's see if this will come back. Go to speed, back to here. All right. Accept. Okay. What happened here? What's wrong? Okay, we've broken some kind of thing inside our render engine. We'll try the other render style. Speed, it seems to want to go with speed. But okay, save this. Let's close this. And see what's happening. Art! Art makes a scene! Welcome, friend! Can't stay long. Got surgery. Oh no! Just got the notification we're streaming. Thought to thumbs up and say hello. Well, Art, we have our hearts out for you for your surgery tomorrow. You take and get well, friend. Yes. Good luck on that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, we still have our, hope you pull through very well. You have a good, you're in good hands. Literally. Yeah, open. I just thought I'd come on tonight. Well, it's great to have you here, Art. It is. I'm glad we did this tonight so we can all picture you in good health, in good hands for tomorrow. Yeah, I think this maybe got some dirt that time. Dirt. And here we grab our totem. We got our shell back. Okay. Okay, maybe we have to select the surface here and then put them on. Well, this is perplexing. That eye doesn't want to seem to come back. Yeah. Texture shaded. Can we get eye back? Now I just downloaded and installed a new NVIDIA driver. And that could very well be what's behind this fun thing. So, 'cause it worked before. Now it doesn't seem to work. Our geometry shell. So, okay, we'll go out of here. I should have tried to render it there. No, see, something is just completely overloading the scene. It can't be this. We got an HDRI and a wizard with a, we only got a few things in this scene. It can't be overloading 24 gigs of RAM. It just can't be. So, what's up? All right, let's go to our optimization. It's on speed. It likes it to be with speed. Let's see. These are for Genesis. Okay, dirt shaders. Let's see if there's some kind of shell. This is Genesis 9 dirt shell. Layer 3, layer 2. These are really cool. So you can put 3 shells on them and each one have different materials. That is dirt effects for Genesis 9. Unfortunately, it doesn't work on everything. Dirt decals. All right, we have one other option with our totem, okay? And now it doesn't seem to want to render at all. And I deleted the thing. Okay, save it without that. What's going on, NVIDIA? Props. Okay, these are decals. I think these might actually go on. Okay, we got to close this. Yeah. Well. Yeah, Art, it's so nice to have you here tonight. It is. I hope you're doing okay, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right, so we open new wizard. And all right, what we're going to do is we're going to take and just darken this a little bit, okay? So it's not as bright. So we'll go here with our brightness manager, see if that'll work. Let's hope that NVIDIA doesn't kind of like make a bunch of things stop working, you know, because it wants to move towards a driver and take a lot of the older stuff that we rely on, you know, that just suddenly doesn't work anymore. See, that's getting darker now. Okay, I don't know if I want it that dark. Okay, I think that works. Let's see. See, the problem is with this is the HDRI is kind of so the HDRI is, and we have a line here. You see that line? Oh, that's our plane, I'll bet you. Our ground plane. It may be going down below the horizon of. So there's just kind of some flaws here. So it would seem that our best bet here would be to create our own plane. And so let's do that. So we'll go with Ultra Scenery 2. Yeah. And we'll turn the ground off. So we'll go to our environment parameters. You can't tell me we were out of RAM because it's like I just added Ultra Scenery 2 into the scene. And there's plenty of RAM still left. So, okay, ground off. Where is that? Draw ground off. Okay. Now let's bring our Ultra Scenery down into the scene. We got to save a location first. Browse. Up. Okay, we'll call this Wizard's Den. Wizard's Den. Open, select. Okay, we'll put all of our scene stuff. Let's turn that on. Okay, let's go down here into maximum altitude. We'll go 3. And we'll go point minus 2. Okay, we'll go minus. All right, let's just mess around with our image here, our seed. Okay, this works. I think I can do something with this. So we just take this now and we bring our go into here and we'll go minus 3 minus 3 point, okay, minus 4.5. No. Yeah, 4.5. Okay, that works. Now, it looks like this is, I think that's floating in the air. 4.3. 4.2. Let's see what happens when we go there. Okay. I think it's definitely not floating in the air, but we have to find out for sure. The wizard is, but is our totem. Totem. Okay. See, you'd never know, but it is floating in the air. See that? You have to check things. So minus 3, 4.1. Okay, minus 3.9. Oop, 3.9. 3.8, 7, 5, 4. Okay, back to our camera. Save. And now we can look and put some kind of ground on here. All right, back to our Ultra Scenery here. Ultra Scenery 2. And let's add biome. And go here to our there's that, and we have to now tell the grass to go lower because we lowered our land. So minimum altitude, like minus, it will only go as low as the ground goes, minus 10,000. And then the grass will actually go in this lower altitude. For some reason, by default, it goes higher. And let's bring the density up of this grass. Just see what happens. Now we have 59,133. Let's bring it up to a really high amount. Okay, now let's see what this looks like. Well, oh, we have to turn this. It will render, but we have to set this to memory. Remember, we set it to speed. When you're dealing with many instances, you have to set it to memory, or it will load all those all of the instances into your video RAM. It may actually work, but it's not working right. Okay. Come on. All right. I can't believe how powerful ultra scenery it is. It is like View inside Daz. That's amazing, because I haven't worked much with View. And so, yeah, you just have to, with the driver updates, you just have to kind of, you just kind of have to take what comes, because we're at their mercy, and we got to hope they don't screw things up. Okay, we're going to cancel this. I think got a problem here. It could be the new driver. You know, I didn't restart my computer when I installed the driver. So that could be a problem right there. Sometimes they just don't seat correctly. Okay, so what we'll do is save this. I think I did save it because I don't see an asterisk here. So, yeah, and it didn't work. But it will work, I think, if we go into render settings, optimization. You have to set this to memory. Save this. Okay, we'll go out of iRay. And it will work to the reboot, Batman. Yeah. All right, let's see if this works. See if it works. It will. I think it'll work once we go to memory here. Nope. We got a problem here. I believe I believe our, because it's definitely not, we haven't reached 24 gigs, okay? Not in this scene. So what we're going to do is we can close this, save it, yeah. I'm going to restart my computer. See if we can get our So yeah, I'm hoping Daz will accept my program into the store. I have sent them the application to see if they will accept my program. I haven't signed any kind of agreements yet, so I guess until I do, I guess I can sort of talk about it, but I think once any agreements are signed, I like to follow the rules. So I just can't talk about things that they tell me I can't talk about. If I sign the non-disclosure agreement, I certainly can still make scenes and stuff and make videos. That just can't talk about things that are new and coming down the pike. Which is, I wouldn't want anybody talking about something I was making if it was, if I wanted it to be a surprise. Okay, I have to make sure. Yep. I have created a Daz program art. It is called Easy HDRI. And what it does is it finds all of your HDRIs and makes it very easy for you to just click on them and use them in your scene. So that is a cool thing. And I'm hoping that Daz is going to let me sell it in the Daz store. My first program got 1,000 lines of code. Yeah, it was not trivial. It took me 3 months to make it. Yep. Working very hard at it. I think it was around 3 months. I took off a lot of work to work on it. Worked day and very late into the night. Get up and look in the mirror after working all night. I looked dead. I looked almost as old as I am. All right, let's see. Come on. So yeah, it was a lot of work. I had to restart the project many, many times because it just didn't work every time I would try to do it. It didn't work right. Yeah, until I finally got it done. So any HDRIs that you have, as long as they're EXRs or HDRs, it will find them in your Daz library and it will make a folder, and every HDRI in your Daz library will appear in that folder. And you can view the folder in Smart Content. Well, it's very nice that you came and stayed with us as long as you could, Art, and it's understandable. You usually get to bed early anyway, so it's good. I should probably go to bed soon too. I should. I'm wondering what it is about this scene that is making it so temperamental. Maybe it will render now. Maybe I just put too much grass in. All right, I could have done that. So, all right, now let's go and check our render settings and make sure that they're still on memory. Okay. Now it should stop trying. I am so glad to see you all and to hear you. You'll be a PA at the number the Daz. Oh, look what we've got. We got something here. All right. It doesn't look like our grass rendered, but maybe it did. It's got grass here, I think. Just not enough of it, maybe. So what we have to do, it's harder to turn the grass the same color as the HDRI. Oh, okay, we got a problem here. It only rendered so long, so we've got to go back to progressive renders. Off. All right, why did it only render? Render. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, we go, that's got to be on. I'm not sure what this auxiliary canvas is, but I think it's got to be on. Off. Maximum samples, maximum time. Yeah, there's probably going to be a bunch of stuff in the... I have a feeling this latest driver really messed things up. Yeah, now it's not rendering. Okay, I may have too much grass in here. I did put a lot of that in the scene. So let's go into ultra scenery. I can't think of what else, because 2 VDBs and ultra scenery, and this should not be enough to mess up my scene. So, okay, so we go back to ultra scenery, and let's take some of that grass out. Maybe I just don't like it. Let's see. Oh, now the camera culling, okay. We go here to the bluegrass. That 7,000 is not too many. I mean, 76,000 is not that many, but let's bring the density back down. And now the density is at 48,000. My first 3D program was a long time ago. It was even before Pavre. Do you guys remember Pavre? I go way, way back to this. I go back, I was using TrueSpace. And I was also using 3D Max way back then, too. Yeah, long before Bryce and Poser, I was using TrueSpace. Yep. And I think you can still get versions of TrueSpace, but it's not being developed anymore. And there was another program, it had some 3D stuff in it. It was called, like, Draw or something. It was not Corel Draw or anything, it was called Draw something. And that one you could make designs with. You could use it to create, like, 3D designs. They were like, that you couldn't get it to go to music. Yeah, TrueSpace was with me too. I loved TrueSpace. TrueSpace was like kind of like Blender today, but Blender is so much more than TrueSpace was. Yeah, TrueSpace was a true modeler. It's like when I think of a modeler, I think of TrueSpace. And Pavray was all in where you had to copy, you had these massive libraries of stuff, and you had to copy code, and you had to code to make a scene. Yes, TrueSpace had some awesome icons. Yeah, I like to have them all there too. Yeah, TrueSpace was fun. And then 3D Max was just amazing. Now 3D Max was like everything back then. It was like 3D Max just was really the thing about TrueSpace is it just had like a bunch of textures you could put on things. You could just click, and with 3D Max, you had to kind of look around to find your library and stuff. 3D Max was so complicated, where TrueSpace was just kind of easy, but you could do anything with 3D Max, just like today. It's just, you can do anything with 3D Max. And it is a very strong, very, very, very strong Blender contender even today. It's like, it's probably more advanced than Blender. Not in everything, but in modeling, yeah, 3D Max is much more advanced than Blender. In many ways. All right, let's see if this will render with a lot fewer grass pieces. If not, I hope I'm not going to have to go and, yeah, there's some kind of thing. Let's just delete the grass for a moment. We'll turn off ultra scenery and see if there's just something inherently wrong with this. No, it just doesn't like my scene anymore. All right, environment. Let's go to render settings. I've done something wrong here. Optimization, memory, and general. Okay, progressive render. Maybe it's just they've done something weird with this stuff. Maximum time, maximum samples. This is what I've always done here, render. What it's like, it seems as though it was when I started to put the dirt on the totem. And you know, it looks like this totem is under, oh, the ground goes down. Okay, it's under the plane here, but it's, okay, so what if we turn off the totem and try to render this? The totem might still have some of that dirt on it. No, let's delete the totem. Ultra scenery. And go here. No, there is something like, let's turn off the bonfire. What's going on here? It's like the scene is corrupt. Nope, it just won't render with anything. Okay, ZZ, let's bring this stuff back. Let's save this. Okay, well, and ultra scenery won't work in Daz 2025. So that's out. So let's see, okay, if it's something with the Wise Wizard. I'm wondering if I accidentally put one of those dirt things on the Wise Wizard, okay? So let's turn off the Wise Wizard and see if it will render. Nope. Let's turn off the Wise Wizard Intense Flame. No. All right, well, let's re-enable render quality. No, it's not that. Spectral render. Did I turn something on here? No, there's nothing. Environment. Draw dome. We turned off the ground. Let's turn the ground back to auto. Nope. Well, all right, what we'll do, it's kind of crazy here, but we'll just select everything. We'll turn Ultra Scenery back on, and we'll save file, save as scene subset. We'll call this, what's this called? Wizard's Den. Wizard's Den. Save. Everything. Scene subset. Okay. Let's go new. New scene. Okay. Something kind of messed up our, it's something, it might have been that those bodysuits where I believe that maybe the bringing in those the covers of the the driver isn't compatible with stuff that it normally is. Okay, so all right, now we go here and we go to, where are my there's somewhere here, saved files. Save files here. Well, all of my save files here. Default. Save files, okay. What was that called? Wizards? I don't know if it's going to show up. Wizard's Den. All right. Set. Let's load all this in and see what happens. Because I mean, it's acting like there's, all right, like it's a scene full of stuff, when even the wizard and all were turned right off. So, okay, let's see if it'll render now. No. Okay, so I guess the studio driver. Okay. Okay, I know how to roll back the studio driver. Okay. So we're going to save changes, no. We go to our device manager. Yeah, this has got to be the new studio driver. It's like NVIDIA's been working hard. You know, I don't want to insult people, but, you know, device manager. All right, let's go to display adapter 4090. Update driver. Okay. Properties, huh? Okay, rollback driver. Well, there we go. Close. All right, now watch everything work. Let's wait until it's done doing its thing. Hello, Rich Kapoor. How are you? How are you? It's very nice to have you here. We've got 3 people, it says here. I think there may be more than 3, but we shall, I'm not sure. It doesn't always compute everybody who's actually here. Yes, I switched back to the 4090 because I use ultra scenery in almost every scene, and I couldn't render with I had to render my ultra scenery scenes with, let's turn all this stuff back on. Okay, render. Watch this render just wonderfully. Well, it's not black yet. There. So it's the driver. You know, I don't know, maybe the driver, but something's still kind of messed up. I think I turned off, yeah, I did. So we go back here now to our render settings. Yeah, I use ultra scenery in almost every scene that I make. So we got to turn that back up to high. Render. See if we can get a full render out of this now. Now it's black again, so no idea what's causing this. Not good. And I just reinstalled my whole library. Well, let's start a new scene and let's experiment with ultra scenery. It seems to have happened when I started using ultra scenery. So, and ultra scenery is the big thing. Yeah, I can't wait to use 2024. I like everything. I mean, 2025, I like everything about it. And except that I have a lot, I depend on a lot of scripts. I mean, I use my scripts. I know my scripts. I use them all the time. So, I have to use my scripts. So let's go now to create a browse. Okay, we're going to call this one Ultra Test. Ultra Test, where is it? Oh gosh, I just created a whole bunch of new folders. delete this. Test. Rename. Ultra test. Select. Okay, we go here. Now into -3. We'll go -3. All right, that seems to be enough. And -2. -3. We'll go to 3. All right, that's good. And now we will pull out a little bit here. And let's now go and add. Maybe it's the bluegrass. I just doesn't like the bluegrass. There's something wrong with the bluegrass. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to put the bluegrass in. Just because that's where we had the problem. Bluegrass. Okay. And let's go to our parameter. Okay, we haven't gotten our, so we have to go here to add our tone mapping and environment options. Render settings, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, they're already there. I needed to probably close. Okay, that's off. Okay, render. Now look at that, okay? Parameters. Oh, I know what might be wrong here. It should have at least rendered ground. Okay, let's go back. Tell me I've got a mess with this, with my library. It's quite possible. Render settings. All right, spectral rendering. Okay, we're going to go back here. Let's make sure everything looks right. Okay, I'm not messing with that. Okay, memory. Okay, now another thing we don't have here in our Ultra Scenery 2 is we didn't set, okay, oh, iRay preview is on. And the other thing is this. We have to set this layer here down to minus. Okay. Render this. No. It seems to be all centered around the problem with Ultra Scenery. There's something I've done wrong here. Oh, we don't have a camera. Let's create a camera, new camera. Look through the camera. Go back here to Ultra Scenery. No, something is really wrong with the... Okay, let's try just something else other than... Okay, what we'll do is close this down and start a completely new scene. No, 4.24 does not work with any 50 series GPU. It just defaults to your CPU, and that's it. It doesn't do, it won't use your 50 series GPU. And that's because NVIDIA changed the architecture of it so far from the, yeah, and there must be some kind of wisdom behind doing that, but it totally, you know, for the tiny little bit of gain that we got from the 5090, it wasn't like double or anything for them to switch to Blackwell, but you know, they're smarter than I am. I don't know what I don't know what's up with that. So add, okay. Well, it looks like maybe we got something different here. Okay, so let's now browse and go up, and we go now with new test. I can't see this. I've got too many things now. And now we move this down to maximum altitude 3, minimum minus 4, 3. Okay, let's try that. Render. Okay, so there's just something corrupt in that particular, that's good. In that particular shell, that Daz shell, I've had it there kicking around for a month or so with that HDRI in it, wanting to make a scene with it. And so that's what happens when you start like a Daz project and you don't, and you set it aside for a month, and you get all these new updates to the program, and then you try to bring it in. It's supposed to load old projects, but sometimes those shells just don't work right when you're trying to create a project. If you want to load the project in and render it, usually that's okay, but once you start moving stuff around in it, well, I think that could happen. So it could be a problem. And I may have even loaded that into 2025 at some point. All right, so we go now into our environment options. Okay, what did I just do? I just moved the tone mapper options into there. They don't go there. All right, so environment options. Okay, we go to render settings. Progressive render, maximum samples, maximum time. Okay, turn that off. And does this still work? Okay, yes, it does. Okay, so now let's play around with this some more. Close this, and that looked like it was just rendering without stopping. That's what you do. You take the maximum samples here. This is for you, Matt. I think it was you who was asking about it. I think Art is now snoozing. And Art, you just keep safe tomorrow. Have a good surgery, friend. And all right, so rendering. Okay, so you just drag these maximum samples, maximum time, drag them all the way to the end. Yes, Matt. And then you drag them all the way to the end, and then you turn that off. And what that does, what this does, and you leave the minimum samples right where it is. Leave everything else where it is. You just drag the maximum samples and maximum time all the way to the end, and then you turn that off. And when those are set like that, it won't render forever, but it will render like all night, and sometime by the next morning, it will stop rendering unless it's a really intense scene. It may render all night and most of the next day, but it will render thousands of iterations, okay? like 10, 15, 25,000 iterations. It just won't stop until you stop it. And so I just always set it because I want to stop it when I think it's done. I don't want it just to say, oh, I think it's done, because it's not always done when it says that. And why would I wait like 2 hours for a render and then have it say just, oh, it's done, when I might not think it is done. So I just always set that to off and set that so that it just renders until I tell it. Except when I'm doing animation. Then I get really precise with these, because I only want it to render like 20 iterations or something like that per frame. All right, so, and this, your maximum samples, that is your iterations, okay? So right now it's up to 25,000 iterations. I'm not sure if I can click this. Let's go 30. No, like 30,000. Yes, it'll only go up to 25,000, so yeah. Yeah, yes, that's exactly what you do. That's how you fix the water, and especially with water, and if you're using mesh lights. Mesh lights can because they're a wall of pixels, and each pixel is a light ray, okay? And so that can take 25,000 iterations to what I call reticulate, so that all the little dots and stuff are nice and smooth looking in the scene. So let's now put some. That was a very good discussion because it's very helpful. Now what we're going to do is go ultra scenery here, and we're going to now see if we can use ultra scenery to, it might be the bluegrass, I don't know, it could be the bluegrass. It could be that I've picked a particular land and the bluegrass needs to go on a certain land, because if I look at that bluegrass, it looks like it needs a road. But I don't think that's the case, but we're going to put the bluegrass back in. We might be finding a problem with, all right, will this render bluegrass? Yeah, okay. But the problem is now you can see the bluegrass is like really high and it stops at a certain elevation. That is because, okay, see, I canceled the render. All right, now you go down into here, and remember how we lowered the ground? Well, we have to click this here, select that, and then we go here to minus 10,000, minus, and then that means that it will just, that's 10,000 centimeters, not miles or anything. So let's save this and call this ultra test. Ultra test. And then let's see what we got here for this. Accept. So we can probably put NVIDIA's wonderful new driver on, because that wasn't the problem. It was probably the, like I said, that it's just a corrupt shell of a, that can happen. Just Daz doesn't like an older version of something. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't, yeah, I think the elevation, now this might be a culling issue, but I don't think it is. Let's put some other grass in here too. I'm not sure why it's not showing up on those other. So what we could do is, I don't know if this 10,000 iterations here for, okay, come back, Ultra Scenery 2. Here, we select this, and we got centimeters. Let's go 20,000. No, it only lets us go centimeters. I think there's a way to change it from centimeters, but Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm quite sure there is, but all right, let's add some other grass in here. Now, we have culling on. Backface culling is not on, so it shouldn't be causing a problem with that. Let's add another grass. Like this grass here. All right, that was pretty fast. Let's, oh, we have to do the same thing with this grass. We have to give it, would you like to cancel? Yeah. All right, we have to select this, and we have to go down here and go with minus 10,000. Save this and render. Well, I'm glad I don't have to reinstall 13,000 products and like scour my registry. That was like just flashed before my eyes, that realization that, okay, what have we got here? Looks like the grass is going all the way around too. Yeah, look at that. Wow. That's pretty nice. Okay, that's working. Daz is amazingly stable. It's an amazingly, and you know, full of so much depth, and it's also incredibly stable. You know, yeah, there are times when like what we just had happen, but it is pretty. Yeah, I have 13,000 assets. Yep. So, they're mostly male assets. I buy the male clothes and male hair. I would have probably double that if I bought male and female assets. I have a bunch of female assets, but I prefer like for females, I prefer like the classy like gowns and things like that. I don't really go for I'm not making porn, so I don't really need all of the lingerie and stuff. It's just the same with the males. I don't need male lingerie and male. I just don't need all of that. I prefer like cowboy suits and beautiful dresses and things like that that have a lot of intricate work in them rather than just a bunch of strips that cover various parts of the body as skimpily as possible. Yeah, I've kind of had enough of that, but that's me. I don't have a market. I don't have an audience for that kind of stuff. And even if I did, I wouldn't, I don't know. I think I like the idea of my figures being, mostly clad, So I do like to show a little skin here and there. So, but, all right, so, okay, so we have this sort of working. So now I'll show you my Easy HDRI here. As you can see, where are you, Easy HDRI? I don't know if I put them in here. If that's the right folder. Environments, yeah, it should be in Easy HDRI. Where are they? Oh, there they are. Okay, so this is woods. Okay, that didn't, I don't know if that's going to work. Oh, look at that. This will. See, these are this is what's so cool about having all of your HDRIs right there. Yeah. Look at that now. See, this is cool. See, that just melds right into It's a little bit more foggy, more like blurry than it should be. The main reason I went to Daz was for wildlife. View could do great landscapes, but no so great animals. Yeah, you know, what I really like a lot are birds. For wildlife, I like, because there are so many different really interesting birds, you know, and I like ground animals like, skunks and raccoons and things like that, but I really, really love birds, okay? So, and I wish the Daz artists would make more birds. I'll buy any birds you make. And I don't know if I'll ever get to using them all, but I like especially certain birds like swans, and I like cranes, and I like ibis, the red ibis birds. I like parrots that are very, it's like, where are they in Daz? No, it's like every day we've got just like scantily clothed. The artists, I'm sorry to say, the artists in Daz, I've got their head in a bucket or something, to put it nicely. It's just, it's really kind of terrible. I would say it's a decade of crap. Yes, you're right, Matt. It's like, and crows. Yeah, crows, we do have good crows. We have good, some really nice, like wrens or sparrow kind of birds, and just not nearly enough birds, but we do have some good ones. I mean, Daz doesn't even, I don't even know that they have a really good swan. I had to get my swan from like another website. I think it was, I don't know, I may have gotten it free. Or I had to actually take a swan that was part of like some sort of internal, like it was like a household item and cut all of the parts off and stick it in the water to make it look like a swan. And I used it as like sort of silhouette sort of thing. Yeah, just to get a swan. A swan. I mean, in this day and age, you would think there would be birds and things. Birds, of all the animals in the world, birds are just so amazing. And I'll tell you a secret, if you do Daz scenes with birds in the gallery, people are so tired of some of the stuff in the gallery that when they see birds, you will get a few more votes than you will with a lot of the other things. So this grass, I can't stop looking at it. It's just so amazing. It really, really is. Now, can I bring my wizard in, though, is the question. So that was still rendering. So now, environment. So we go to golden. See if I can find this golden. No, you have to search in smart content, and that's why we have this easy HDRI here. It actually lets you search within golden, which is really nice. There it is, golden. Oh, look at this now. See, what I need to do is take this golden thing. And will it render? Was it the HDRI? Is there something really wrong with this HDRI? That's the other question, because that's one of the things I really didn't test. No, look at that though. Now, is it going to render any further? It just seems stuck. No, look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So, all right, cancel that. That is gorgeous. Look at that. All right, now what we do is we take this environment, okay, because it doesn't really fit. So if we take this environment and we make it a little bit green, see how that works? Then it fits into our scene. See how this works? Look at this. Wow. Now let's bring our wizard in. See if we can just bring him in alone. Okay, so we go now out to here. No, to here. Here. Save files. Wizard. Save files. No, down here. Here. Wizard. Wizard. Okay, we're going to open this. Oh, it's going to load everything in here. And I think it could end up corrupting the file. If it was something in the scene corrupting it, which it kind of makes sense that it would be, we're going to have two ultra sceneries, which I don't think you can have. All right, so ultra scenery 2, we'll get rid of that. We're going to keep the totem, the figure, point light and all that. I think those can be the bonfire. And all right, let's move. Let's turn on our wizard. Okay. Where's our, okay, we have two cameras in here now, right? I think. Now we did have another camera here, and it seems to be, render this and see if we have that problem. I think it changed the color of my HDRI back to the other color. And you know what? I think that's exactly what happened is I loaded that other Daz in Daz 2025, saved it, then loaded it back into here. And that's what happened. That's what started all. So it's not the latest driver, okay? So that's not what it was. It was the shell, it got corrupted. And now, I'm sure I have two cameras in here, but I'm only seeing one now. So we have the figure. Okay, we're going to move the figure here and down. And we're going to bring our fire. Where's our bonfire? Over here. Like here. And we will turn our wizard. Where's his fire? That was in his hand, okay? That is a sign that something, okay. Oh, intense flame, it's turned off. Okay. Now we're going to turn our background back to green. Green. I just wrote a song called Fields of Green today. It is very pretty. Okay. Now we're going to take this camera, we're going to delete it, save this file, and then we're going to take our background environment here, parameters. We're going to hopefully catch that lucky green again. All right, save this again. Let's bring, all right, this works. Now let's render this. Let's see what we have. The Heron by AM has an egret variant, which looks a lot like a swan. The owl eagle. Yes, I've used the eagle. The heron, petrad, pterodon. Yeah. Oh, there's a whole bird bundle. Oh, look at this. We've lost our scene. And you know, it seems as though I might have figured out what this is, because it worked until we turned this intense flame on. We take the flame out. I don't think these two VDVs play nice together. Okay. We're going to get rid of that. Save this. Some VDVs are not compatible with each other. Because it seems to have happened. It rendered with him in there, with everything in there, but that VDV was not turned on. Now look at this. What is wrong? Okay, let's take the point light out. Unparent the point light. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, let's take out the totem as well. Save this. Okay. Make sure I don't have one of those. What was that called? That was called dirt. I bet I have one of those hidden here somewhere. It was called shell. Okay. V3. Let's try V3. Nope. What could be wrong here? Boots. Reaches eyebrows. It's just the only thing is he's a Genesis 8 figure. Okay, let's take him out of the unparent him. Let's delete this figure shell. Save this again. Let's close it down. Having those two VDBs in there could very well have corrupted the file. It could corrupt the container. It shouldn't, but it could. I'm going to turn off this syncing for now. Pause syncing for 8 hours. It could be that it's like trying to sync in the background. All right, file. Let's render this and see. All right, well, there's nothing to render, but okay, file. Ultra test, would you like to save? No. Yeah, the Geo shell is a very powerful feature, yes. That's a good way to put it. All right, now we don't have, well, okay, it's rendering. Because it wouldn't render like that in iRay if it wasn't prepared to render. So I'm quite sure this will render. Yeah. So I would assume that it's the multiple VDBs, and now we have a light there. With no, which VDB, would it handle one of them maybe? Let's see if we can use some kind of flame. Would you like to cancel this render? Yes. See, this looks pretty good right here. Kind of wish we had more of him in the scene than that. So if we push him back, let's get rid of the light for now. And we just zoom back. We can't zoom back. Well, we can actually, because ultra scenery will just grow grass wherever we put him, like that. All right, which is nice about this ultra scenery. Look at that now. See, that looks pretty good. So it wasn't the container being corrupted by 2025. It was incompatible VDBs, okay? That is what it was, because when we removed them both out of the scene, closed as, reopened. Now one of them might work in the scene, but they don't work together. Now that is not always the case with VDBs, but I have encountered that before, many times before, with not just VDB, but incompatible lighting. Okay, and so, and it may not have been the VDB containers. We remember we had that that point light that linear point light. Well, it could have been a problem with the point lights. And the thing is that PAs often have, their skill set is often goes outside of what today's, because they go way back, and so sometimes they'll use certain things that, like maybe 3D light lights, I don't know. You know, it's just a thought that they could be using some, or they could even like design their own lights from scratch and put them into a scene where they're not even Daz lights, and they've just decided, I think I'll make my own lights that have this specific ability, and that is that's where there can be problems. And so it's, I don't think it happens often, because I think Daz is very careful about products that conflict with other products, but it does happen, that's for sure. When, especially when you have a library like mine with 13,000 items in it, I have a bunch of products that don't work with each other. Yeah, well, that's it. I don't just put, you know, come in and teach one little thing, because you're not going to see the trial and error happen when you do that. And, you know, that's, YouTube is pressures. It's not just YouTube. It's a lot of people that come into my videos, and they'll leave messages and say, you could have made it a little bit shorter. You could have made your video shorter, you know, and it's like, yeah, I could have, but I didn't, you know, and it's like, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna bow to that kind of pressure. So just skip ahead if I'm in a spot that, you know, is boring. That's all I can say. And YouTube themselves, they took years to monetize this channel, because I'm live. I don't come in, hey everybody, and start screaming in people's faces and blah, I gotta tell you this, and you know, and it's just like, I get annoyed by that, you know, I get annoyed by pushy salespeople, you know. I want somebody kind of laid back, and so, you know, yeah, that's what we do. It's problem solving, and because when you're in the middle of a scene like this, you have to figure out what's wrong. So now what's going through my head is, what do I want? Do I want the fire on the ground, or do I want the fire in his hand? And I'm thinking I want to stick with the fire in his hand, okay? But I'm thinking that I'd like to make the fire in his hand green instead of red. Okay? So that is a possibility here. Now he's got a green orb in his cane, in his staff. Okay, so now let's go back. Let's try VDBs. Maybe VDBs are broken in Daz right now. I don't know. It's been a while, and there's been a few updates and all. So there's a possibility they are just broken in Daz. Okay, now these flames, look at these. These are low-res flames, high-res flames. These are supposed to be VDBs. Okay, let's go with this little teeny flame. It's a high-res flame. Oh my God. Let's see now. Now this is a pretty big VDB. That, you know, maybe it's just too much. It's like, could be made of like, it says high-res. Okay, so there are some low-res ones. So this could be like, I don't know, it jumped into the scene a lot quicker than a figure would. Let's go into this surface. Okay, here. Okay, here's the emission tint. So we're going to go with green. Ooh. And emission scale, emission temperature, multiplier. Okay, that looks pretty cool. And now we go here to 9. And we bring this over. We scale this down some. This might be just too much. That might be the thing, is that maybe they were not incompatible. Maybe they were just, maybe it really is like, 8 gigs or something. I doubt it. It takes a while to load 8 gigs into a scene. And that came right in, so that doesn't seem like it. Okay, now we're going to go to parameters and scale it. Maybe it didn't like being scaled down. That's another thing that came to mind, but I don't think that's the case. Okay, now we're going to put a camera in the scene again. We're going to try to put a camera in. Create copy, accept, okay, and we're going to lock the camera. Object, lock, because I want to use I want a perspective view, and I want to copy my perspective view before I start moving this stuff around. So that's why I just decided that was the time to put a camera in the scene. Okay, so then I can move my perspective view. Okay, back to the camera view, and see, now we can come right back to our camera view, and the smoke is messing with his face. So let's put the Wise Wizard and the flame back into a group. These groups, these things are supposed to work, figure. Okay, and so now we're going to turn him a little more so we can see his face. We might, okay, there we go. And save this. All right, now this looks like it's a little bit off kilter here. Now let's render this. See what we have. Analogy ID says, say is you are the teaching people how to fish instead of just handing out fish. Well, you see, the way I used to, use YouTube is the way a lot of people expect me to. And it's like I'll forget how to do something and I'll say, how do I do that again? And I'll go on YouTube and find a video that, okay, so now I believe we're seeing this issue begin again, okay? Because now there might be a problem with Daz's VDBs in this latest, because I believe I have this set for my render settings. Yeah, and that was not supposed to stop right there. So there is an issue with at least this VDB, because that was loading fine, and now watch, when I go to render this, it's going to go black. It may not render at all. See, it's not rendering fully. It's like crashing in the render. Now see, it went black. Okay, so there's a problem with that VDB. Let's save this. Okay, and now I don't believe it will work unless I close Daz. That's too bad. We had it all ready. We had the perfect VDB. It was looking kind of cool. But you notice the smoke kind of cut out on us? And so it went black. So all we have to do, it's saved, is close this down. Yeah, we'll save it. Close the scene. Reopen it. And it will all be back to normal again. So what we'll do is we will try a different brand of VDB. And this would be something to report to Daz, but I'm not ready to do something like that, to report a problem with a product, until I go reading in the forums and find out if somebody has already been discussing that there's some kind of problem with Daz, with VDBs, and the latest update might have kind of, there might be a problem. Why write a big long essay on something when it's a known issue already? So this will work once we get the scene back. I have a feeling it's going to work fine. So we have isolated the issue. So let's render this. What's happening is I don't believe that every time it renders, it's staying in the RAM. And then it renders again, and it puts another copy in the RAM. It's not emptying itself out. It's just recopying until it fills the RAM. That's what I think is happening. So we can try a different VDB. And we'll find out, because if it works, that does it with a completely different VDB product, then that means it's VDBs in general. So, or it could be VDBs that have flame built into them. Okay? Those VDBs are very special ones. They have, see, they have flame built into them. They have two different so let's go to Fire. Okay. Let's go to Magic instead and find, well, let's go to Products, Magic. All right. Props. We're going to go with something bluish green. All right, where's our orb? Now this may not show, it might only show in, okay, our camera's locked, remember, perspective view. It might only show in iRay. Let's get it into his hand, kinda. I know you're getting tired holding your hand there, but just a little bit longer. We'll get a render, then you can rest. All right. Okay. Let's see what this looks like in iRay. Now it's looking like it's over too far this way. He's got something there. Okay. That works. Back to our camera view. Whoa. That works really nice. I think this is a sickle yield product. All right, it's PDF, more magic. Let's take a look at this. PTF. No, it's Pixel Tizzy Fit. Okay, some really nice stuff here. Very amazing. How they did this, I don't know if these are VDBs. I don't think they are. I don't know how they did. Bloom Filter 20 magic spells. Our set offers diverse magical effects to suit any fantasy scenario. Beginners crafted with attention to detail, our particle effects deliver professional grade results, giving you the creative freedom to match your vision perfectly. All right. So let's render this. Look at that. And you see it's continuing to render. It's not stopping. It's just rendering like it's supposed to. Yeah, that. My Latin's a little rusty. Okay, this could come ahead and over a little bit. All right. But that looks cool. Okay, ahead a little. And over. Maybe. All right, let's try that. And let's see about giving him some glow in his light, a light. We're going to use a spot this time. Trusty spot. Okay, we'll go to our spotlight. Click on our wizard. Point at him. Okay, spotlight. Okay, spotlight. Okay. All right, and that doesn't look like it's situated in his hand properly at all. Okay, back to our perspective view. Let's zoom in on this thing. Let's get that in the right place. We can see it in iRay. This is working so nice. Okay, and look at that. The shape that they give you to see it in iRay. That is very nice. Crash! Oh no! We've been tasking. So where are we? We got to find our magic again. I don't think I saved it. I might have saved it right before I rendered it. I do kind of have that. sent, but I don't see anything in his hand, so maybe I didn't. Oh no, how do you see the price history? Oh, you have to install a, it's some kind of, so I didn't save it before I put the thing in his hand. Let's see, price history, let me see. It's a Daz, it's called Daz Deals Options, and it's an extension. Yep. And it's not a cheesy one. It's one that's been around for a long time. It gives you not just that, but it also, when you go into your account settings, it tells you how much you've spent and how much all of your stuff is worth. It tells you like all kinds of information about your account, okay? And they just revamped the entire account section, but it still works in there. You can go in, like, I think I've spent like $30,000 or $40,000 in the Daz store in cash, but my items are worth like the current value is worth over 200,000. So, all right, let's go back to Magic. This time we'll save it in little increments. Magico. All right, back to here, props. Oh, they do fluctuate. So, yes, they do. They do. So I am going to say why that crashed. I have no idea. I was doing something funky with the light perspective. Okay, let's go back into iRay. It seems to be friendly enough to let us do this in iRay. Spanish Dancer. What was that? Song is in my head. That seems to be there, but let's see. Orb a little bit more this way. Let's look at it from the front, from the side. Save it with the orb in his hand. I think it comes a little ahead a little bit more. Okay. Maybe back over a tiny bit. All right, back to the camera. That works. At least we have him at that angle. I saved it after I twisted him a little. And then we saved it after we turned him green. Now the other thing, there was something else in the scene. I forgot now. I was working with something else. We had the magic orb. Oh, the spotlight. All right, so create the spotlight. Spotlight, select our wizard. And then we focus on him. Select the spotlight again. Okay. All right. Okay, now I can't have the spotlight in the orb, or it will blow the heck out of the orb. Okay, now we go back to our camera view and we make our spotlight. Save this bluish. Parameters, spotlight, bluish green. No, it's got to be more blue. More blue than green. Okay, save this. Render. And why Daz crashed right there? Well, we have been feeding stuff into the memory that has been locked, staying locked and not refreshing and not removing itself from the memory. That's what I think is happening. So, and we are working with a very memory intensive, see how that works there? We are working with a very memory intensive scene. So I've just kind of showed you how to, it's kind of like a cheat, okay, with lighting, all right, is to create to create the glow of something. Like if you have people sitting in front of a fireplace in a house, don't try to make the fireplace so bright and everything that it casts this glow all through the room. Just put lights in the room to emulate that, okay? Because what'll happen is this will just get all blown right out and you won't have any color in it. It will just, all the blue will turn to white and it will just, you'll blow all the color out of it, okay? So the only way to do that is with strategic lighting, okay? So now the thing is it's, you would think this would be casting a glow on his coat as well, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. And now I think what we need is to bring back our totem, okay? So we need something magical. Maybe a unicorn would be kind of nice or something. Let's do a unicorn because a totem is kind of boring. You know, a unicorn is like really special. So let's see if we can find a unicorn. Daz Horse 2. They haven't come out with the Daz Horse. Look at all these products that don't have. Oh, these are all, okay, for Daz Studio, Fairy Tale Wings, okay. We got a few products that don't have images. Oh, I might have to redo. A lot of these are poser, but some of them are not. Some of them may be very old. They may not be for the Unicorn 2. All right, let's see what we have here. Unicorn for Daz Horse. Hair. Okay, so I think, oh, this is Daz Horse 2. I'm not a big fan of Daz Horse 2. But I do like it, but I was just, okay, so I think I have to put the Daz Horse in first. And then we have to put then we can put the unicorn stuff on it. So all right, so Daz horse, let's go like this and this. That's Daz horse 3, Daz horse 2. Right, Daz horse, okay. Daz horse 2, why are there 2 of them? Oh, my library is in sad shape. Actor Daz horse 2. Okay. Z. Okay, what did I just do? Daz horse 2. Down. Why are you so large? Okay, Y. Rotate. Okay, parameters Y. Rotate Y. Okay. Y translate. Y rotate. Okay, let's find a pose. Poses. Okay. That kind of works. Now we need like the unicorn stuff. Those are the unicorn poses. Unicorn default. Okay. Anatomy, horn. Okay. Wearable. What's this? Oh. But okay, that's the mane and the tail and all that in this. And I bet that's all D-force. And then materials. Fur, okay. White unicorn, white eye-ray matte. Oh. There it is. Now what happens if we run an eye-ray? We've already done that on the wizard, so we have to hide the wizard. And then we run an eye-ray, and we're going to turn the pose off on the horse, so we simulation, so turn off the pose. So we just wanted this to kind of hang, I guess, so it is a little goatee kind of thing. Simulate. No objects to simulate. Okay. So maybe what we have to do is use, we have to shape that with, this is fine. We have to just make it hang, I think. All right, so we'll go to our tools, and we'll go to Geometry Sculptor, and let's go to Surfaces and see if we can grab that with Surface, the Surface tool. Scale tool, Surface. There it is. Now we go back to our Geometry Sculptor. Make this a little, I I can't see this perspective. Take me here. Here. Which way are we turning this? We're gonna twist it. We have to make it bigger. Like about here. And then we make this bigger to 12. No, we need to make it bigger than that. 20. Okay. And now let's click here. See that? Looks a little better, I think. Save. And let's bring back our wizard. Save this. And now let's render this. See what it looks like. Okay. That what I just did with the Daz horse, that took like years of working with all the different parts to the Daz horse to be able to do that kind of so skillfully. Now the thing is we have I've always had a problem with the Daz horse because they don't have hair. It looks like hair, but it's painted on hair. This is hair. They have hair here, but this is like painted on hair. It's meant to look like bumps and stuff like that, but it doesn't. It's not actual hair. And so but the new Daz Horse 3, I went online. Some of the things that are part of Daz because I went on the forums and I went and nagged them and nagged them and nagged them until they created certain products, like Geometry Sculptor. I went on at least 3 times and started big, long discussions, and I had people saying, Daz Studio isn't a modeler, you know, it's meant for making scenes, it's not a modeling studio. You know, it's like, why isn't it? Why do I have to take something into Hexagon to change the mesh? Well, what I just did with this was amazing, okay? That I could do that right in Daz. That is because I went and pestered them, and finally they came out with mesh shaping, mesh smoothing. I didn't have anything to do with Mesh Grabber, because that was when I was first kind of starting out, and Mesh Grabber came out, and it's like, oh my God. But the mesh smoothing, how do you access the Geometry Sculptor? Well, you have to be a Daz. You have to pay for the Daz Premium, but I'll show you how to do that once. Okay, I think this scene, I'm feeling like it's kind of done. But I would like to add one more thing and see. We're going to find out if our VDBs are actually corrupted or if it was just the flame ones, okay? But I'd like to put a mist here, I mean like a fog in here. So maybe a green fog, a greenish blue fog. So, but I'll show you right now. What you do is you have to select the item that you want, whether if it's the figure and their face, or their head, or whatever part of their body, or the clothing, the cloak, or the inner coat, or the what's it called, tunic, or the belt, or the hood. You select, or the hair. You have to select the item, or the horse itself, or even the horn. You have to select the item that you want to shape. Like, you don't have to like use the morphs for their ears. You can just bend the ear back with the mesh grabber, You can change the shape of the body if you don't like the shape with these tools that I I didn't. But so what you do is you go, if you don't have your tools menu here or over here, then you go up to Windows, Panes, and you look for the tools in here, okay? And the tools will appear like this, okay? It'll come out like that. Well, you drag it down in here and put it in here. And then you go up to here, and if you pay for the premium Daz, you'll see the geometry sculptor here, okay? And when you select that, you have these options up in here, okay? These are not part of geometry sculptor. They'll take you to other tools, but it's this, and this. And so this one is the one you're going to use to like move things in and out. And this one is to sculpt, to smooth things, but it kind of pushes in as it's smoothing. And this one kind of pulls out. I think one or the other. I think this one pulls out, and this one kind of, as it's smoothing, it sort of pushes in a little bit. And so you can use this to pull it back out a little bit. But this one smooths the geometry, so when you're smoothing with this, you might want to go into like wireframe mode, and then you can see the smoothing you're doing to the geometry. So, or wireframe, wire shaded. Okay, so that you can see, Control L will turn the light on, and then you can see what you're smoothing, okay? So, and especially like in areas like the crotch area or underarm, when your figure is reaching and their clothing isn't like it's stretching out the texture, like the texture looks all stretched, you can use this brush, the smoothing brush, to come in and pull that back up and to make the texture look more natural, so it doesn't look like the mesh is being stretched. So let's now add, the VDBs are usually the last thing I add to my scenes. So let's add one. So we're going to find out if, so we're going to save this, and then we're going to come up here. Now the thing is that I could take this hair here, and I could put this on the Daz Horse 3, and I could use Mesh Grabber to shape it onto the horse, and I could put this on, and I could put the horn on by just moving it around and placing it manually on the Daz Horse 3. Then I could have hair. Okay, so it's an option. This part would take an hour to lay that over the Daz Horse 3 and shape it to the body, okay? That would be very difficult, but it would be something that I could possibly do with a few really well placed, mesh grabber areas, and then just pull it just the right way. And if it's placed just right, it might work, okay? It would work. I could get this to work. So this part would be probably the easiest thing to do. So, all right, now what we're going to do is VDB. And I'm going to use my favorite one for this. Props. Cloud. Okay. Let's move it down some. Parameters, Y translate. And let's go to here, here, and we're going to make this surfaces. We're going to make this green. And we're going to make it like 2. Save this. And now let's do a render. Oh, look at that. That looks so magical now, that grass. See, you just give it, we have the detail and we have the mist. And the horse looks like, looks like, oh, what has he got? I've never seen one of those. Well, I do it because, Matt, I have 13,000 Daz items, and Daz's success has to do with me putting money into Daz. That is, by me putting money into Daz, I am supporting them. And supporting the artists there that make the program, and that guarantees my assets, helps to guarantee that my assets remain viable, okay? So that's the thing right there, okay? Is to support them. If you're going to invest in a large quantity of items from them, you might as well do at least, everybody. If everybody did their part to support Daz, it solidifies the value of the items that we are purchasing, okay? So that's kind of the way I see it. So I as soon as it became available, I upgraded. I have to admit, I waited until there was, I think they're having like a big special right now, so where you can get it for, you want to pay for it for the year. Always pay for it for the year because you save a good amount of money. And they might come out with a special right after you've paid for it that, gives everybody else another, I don't know, $20, $30, $40 off for the year. But I pay for it yearly, and I wait until it's on a really, really, really big sale. And then I buy it again, every year, so that I can support them, support the programmers who work on Daz, support the people that work and make all the graphics in the store, and yeah, take care of them. So that's why I pay for it. So, and it gives me those extra benefits. When I buy things in the store, I save a huge amount of money with the vouchers. I get extra money on Mondays and Tuesdays. I can get a ton of vouchers. So whenever I'm buying something, I'm at least paying like, 40% off, something like that. 45% off. Yeah. So, but I've kind of reached the end of, when I go through the Daz store and I look, it's like I already own like everything I want to own already. So it's only for new things that come out, and I kind of wait until they go down in price. So it's very rarely when I can afford to buy. If a new, yes, it does. Premium does definitely pay for itself. Okay, so that is a given, and it's the discounts. It's not so much, well, they give you a $10 voucher, and then they give you another $10 voucher, and they give you a free bundle every month. Well, I already own every bundle, every single bundle that I would want. I almost own every bundle. So when they offer me a free bundle, sometimes a month will go by and I won't even use it because there's no bundle that I don't own. So, yeah. So it's not those parts, it's the discounts. You're very right. It's the discounts. They are massive. So, and it does, within a few purchases, it pays for it's already paid for the month. It's like what, $15 a month, 20 I think it's 20, but it's really like 15 because they give you money off on each month. So it's really like 15, and all you have to do is like make 1 or 2 purchases that month, and you paid for your subscription, and you get the use of the premium product. So yeah, so even if there weren't the discounts, I'd still have to have the premium product. So this is it. This is our scene. So yep, our wizard scene. So I guess this is gonna do it for me. I'm gonna go watch some TV, drink some water, take my magnesium. I have to take my magnesium at night. So, all right, people, thank you for watching. You all have a very good day. I hope you, day, evening, whatever time it is in your part of the world. Thank you for watching. May have been able to pull, if I'd pulled this down a little bit, we might have gotten a little bit more of the, so just little kind of tweaks and things. This good, I could put, what's it called, sub D on this, and it might, notice how it's a little bit crinkly in spots. It looks a little crinkly, but it's not really bad. But it might actually just smoothen it out a tiny, tiny bit so it doesn't quite look as good. But this looks really good, actually. So, yeah, the artwork that goes into this, I am so in awe. Like, look at what Martin has done with the grass here. This is so realistic, it makes me almost want to cry. It's just the grass is just so perfect. It's so beautiful. It's just, you know, there's obvious, you know, I see so many environments that come out and the grass is all like, just like it looks like it doesn't have any life to it at all. And not with this. This is so well done. And the fact that it's only a few little like root pieces that have been situated so perfectly on the map to make them look like just these grass pieces that are up here. I don't see a single one that looks like that really looks like these, maybe a little bit, but that looks like they're duplicates of. It's just so well done. It really is. So, all right, thank you for watching. Yes, in the chat, Matt, thank you for chatting. It's very nice. You know, it's like me doing a scene with nobody chatting. You like saved the evening, Matt. You made it so enjoyable to have somebody to talk with. And Angus, and we had Art here. We also had, I think he might still be here because he hangs around. We had Rich Kapoor, but a lot of times we will have our wonderful, we had N Cherry here, but the one, oh yes, Serenity's Gate, I bet he's still hanging around. So, yes, and Angus, of course, was our first chatter of the evening. And Angus is our #1 supporter of this channel. There's nobody could probably ever come close to supporting this channel as well as Angus has done. This channel would not be what it is without Angus's support. So thank you, people. Thank you for watching. And I hope to have the Easy HDRI out soon. In the Daz store, if I am blessed by the Daz people, if they care about my art, they will contact me and let me know. So, all right, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next Ez3DTv tutorial. All right, I'm gonna play this splash screen, and then I'll be back to say goodbye again. And thanks again for watching. I will see you again soon. This is RexRed saying so long for now. And I will be back in the studio again soon with another Ez3DTv tutorial. Have a great night. You guys are awesome. Matt, thanks again for making the night really special. And keep up the Daz work. Keep up the renders. Happy rendering, people. Alrighty, bye-bye.